All right, welcome back. I'm Justin. I'm here with Deanna, the founder of Block Therapy, as we explore this magnificent practice together. So we've talked about breathing, and we want to move into the second pillar of Block Therapy. You spend a lot of time talking about posture and alignment. You have posture training programs in your membership, the Block Therapy website. How critical is it that people incorporate posture training with their blocking practice?
It's one of the three pillars. It's the third pillar. The first one is the creating space, melting through those adhesions. The second pillar is the inflating space, so we can pump life into that newly open space. And then the third pillar is the posture piece. Now, it is equally important to the other, but probably the most challenging to actually integrate. And the reason is because we are creatures of habit. So it's the habits that we need to change. But if you do it in a very systematic way that follows a simple process on a daily basis, then it's quite simple to do. But if we just said to somebody right now, okay, you've been sitting this way in front of your computer for 30 years, we need you to sit up straight. First of all, you're going to be fighting that 2,000 pound per square inch force. So you might be able to do it, but pretty quickly, you're going to unconsciously fall back in. You might fatigue, you might feel tension in your body. So by releasing the adhesions and creating that movement of flow through the breath, we create this lightness. And then to be able to pull that postural component in is the key. And the reason it's so significant is because we do have proper postural foundations to support our cells home. We spoke in a few videos ago how each cell has its proper position. And over time, with gravity and unconscious living, those cells get pulled away. And that's the posture piece. If we don't allow them to get pulled away, then there's less adhesions, there's less suffering in the body that we have to undo because we're not having to undo what we've done through the day. If I can sit properly in front of my computer all day, if I can stand with my feet where they should be positioned to create balance and symmetry into the body, then my fascia is not having to twist and turn and grip to stop me from tipping over because I'm owning my postural foundations. And there's basically three that we really teach to strengthen as necessary in order to not continue to have to just manage your symptoms. When we can pull that postural piece in, we can really take steps forward. Actually, we can take quantum leaps forward in our body. And the first postural foundation that we always address is at the foundation, rooting. We want to make sure that we have our foundation correct because every step that we take, every time that we stand, if our foundation is off, we're going to continually get pulled into that system of collapse, creating more adhesions, creating more challenges. So rooting is the first one we talk about. And then the second foundation is that breath. So that's already addressed, but the stronger we make the breath, the better. And we also want to understand that when we're standing properly, correct alignment when you're standing is to have your palms facing forward. That's actually anatomical position. Yet if you look at the majority of everybody, the backs of their hands are facing forward, and that internally rotates the humerus, the arm bones, and it pulls the rib cage down. So that becomes another grip. So if we can understand that this is how we should actually be and utilize that posture throughout our day, then we don't have to fight those negative adhesions in the body. And then the third one is the tongue muscle. And it was actually really amazing. I really came across this years ago. I went to a cabin. I took 2 weeks off, which I never did. And I was doing yoga on the deck. I was doing a forward bend. Now, at the time, I was working on patients on a table, and I had chronic neck pain because I was always leaning over the table working on clients. So I get into this forward bend, and I have the familiar neck pain that I always seem to have. And for some reason, I adjusted my tongue and then the pain went away. And I'm like, oh, well, this is interesting. So that became my new thing I played with for a while. I was playing around with my tongue and the alignment and just noticing how it felt in my body. And then I recognized, wow, when I actually consciously am aware of what my tongue placement, it takes the stress off of my neck. So that has become a pillar, or sorry, a foundation in block therapy that we teach in order to strengthen. And it's interesting too, because a lot of people have what they consider is a double chin. It's not really a double chin, it's a displaced and weak tongue. If it's hanging down here, it's because it's not supporting the roof of the mouth where it should be. So part of our training is that as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that you've touched on all these things prior to them becoming popular. And you've discovered them for yourself. And now these days you see more people talking about the breath and even the tongue coming into prominence. So that's really interesting. So thank you again very much for that. Can't wait
Thanks,
to